Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Director, thank you for being here today. Greatly appreciate it. I want to follow up on a line of questioning from my colleague, particularly given the rise in AI. As you mentioned, if we are not thinking about the way that tech and AI affects the banking industry in a number of ways, we're not all doing our job. One of the things that I am really concerned about, and I think we can both agree, rewind, I think we can both agree that, or assume that obviously we need to go after bank robbers. And now in this day and age, thankfully, you don't see as many of those things in actuality, but what we do see is fraud to consumers. So we're seeing it across our state. We had a number of people targeted through the use of AI and unfortunate scams, so to speak. And so when I look at your budgetary proposal, when I look at your performance plan, it shows that consumer education initiatives are decreasing at the CFPB. And I want you to help me understand why the CFPB's investment in consumer education is not projected to keep pace with the rise in fraud and scams that American consumers are experiencing. I think we have to make sure we're doing our part to make sure that Americans are protected.
I'm in total agreement. I think we need to make sure this committee, too, is on notice about generative AI, voice cloning, right, impersonation.
Yes.
One of the things I took a look at in our budget is I found that there was a lot of programs that that were not effective. Mm-hmm. So I'm very open to finding ways that have some empirical effectiveness, but in the age of AI, pamphlets won't be what solves it. We're looking at digital literacy tools, ways in which consumers can protect themselves. Spot scams, we're also looking at how it could be focused on specific populations. Service members are much more likely to be targets of these scams and identity theft. Older Americans face different issues, so I'm open to all.
And so I think when I see the decrease in the budgetary items, it concerns me because Alabamians alone lost $55 million last year to scams. So we need to be making sure we're doing what we need to be doing to staying in front of that, to educating people about what you just said, AI and the use of voiceovers and all of the things. So thank you. I look forward to working with you on that. I also think that our emphasis needs to be placed on places like that where we're really protecting consumers instead of what we've seen this administration talk about with regards to actual incentive fees for people to pay things on time. My question to you is, how many comments did the Bureau receive on the proposed actions related to the quote unquote, as you put them, junk fees?
I don't know the exact number. I want to say it's in the tens of thousands.
Yes, I believe it was 60,000 is my understanding. So, that is a significant number. And I just want to make sure that you're committed to taking time to really reviewing those and the implications of those from various people.
Oh, absolutely. And I just want to comment real quick. It is important that people have the appropriate incentives to repay. I think we want to make sure what we learned, and I think Senator Scott mentioned in his opening, consumers face a lot of consequences
Absolutely.
When they don't pay. Credit scores getting harmed. They might face higher prices, but we want to make sure it's fair and competitive, and I will commit to you, we will carefully review.
And do you
all
have a
of the
timeline for that
record.
yet on how long you...
So the docket you mentioned, that did not have a specific proposal attached to it. That was more inviting broader comment. But as it relates to specific rulemaking proposals, I don't know if you have a specific one in mind. We're trying to do it in a way that is rigorous, but that does not take forever.
Okay, and then I know I'm running out of time and I actually have two more things I want to touch on. But when we hear from some of my colleagues about the removal of medical debt completely, do you not agree that excluding accurate information on ability to repay factors will affect a bank's decision? It could have a detrimental downstream effect if you were to remove an entire source of information from a bank.
Well, the word you said is accurate is important.
Right.
And some of the analyses we have seen from the industry is that it is not necessarily predictive.
Right, and I do appreciate what you said earlier about if someone is involved in being attacked from two different sides, and that we've got to figure that out. We want to make sure that we are putting people in the best position possible to succeed. But eliminating an entire group with regards to medical debt completely, you then wonder what would your opinion be on what would someone's incentive to pay that debt be if it was completely removed?
Yeah, and I take that very seriously, and I think the accuracy issue is what I think is really the lodestar. Again, the credit report, it's not supposed to be a place where you part rumors or where you put something in order to say, make them pay even if they don't owe. That's really the sweet spot we're trying to hit at.
And as I close, I would just like to say, when we look at 1071, I hope that you really consider the effects on small, mainstream, Main Street banks, relationship building banking that we see. I mean, we've got a lot of people that are making our small communities thrive, and I think they need to be heard, and you have the ability under 1033 to give the exemption, and I really hope that you take a look. We need our community banks and our financial institutions and our farm credit bureaus to thrive, and they're doing a good job, and if they have a CRA rating of outstanding or satisfactory, I mean, these men and women are trying to make their communities as healthy as possible, and I hope you will consider giving them an exemption.
And those small banks performed disproportionately well during PPP.
Absolutely,
and
they did.
Based on our adjustments to the rulemaking, there are a substantial number of banks, even in Alabama, who will be exempt now. But
Well,
I take
I
Thank you,
look forward to
Director.
that. Thank you.
Senator Tillis.